The air in the California desert is thick with anticipation on this Tuesday, March 3, 2026. While the world's elite players are still settling into their luxury hotels, one name is echoing through the Indian Wells tennis garden louder than any other: Alexandra Eala. But it's not just her arrival that has everyone talking. It's what happened on the practice courts today that has sent shock waves through the WTA Tour. Witnesses are describing a brutal and fearless training session, where Alex didn't just practice, she dominated. The young queen of Philippine tennis has officially touched down in tennis paradise, and she has brought a level of intensity that many veterans weren't prepared for. As the official draw is finally revealed, the Mania has reached a boiling point, with experts and fans alike scrambling to find out who will be the first to face this unstoppable force in the round of 64. Earlier today on Court 3, Alex Eala was spotted in an intense high-stakes practice session with German veteran Laura Siegemund. This wasn't a friendly warm-up, it was a baseline war. Reports from the sidelines suggest that Alex was striking her left-handed forehand with such velocity and precision that even Siegemund, a player known for her defensive grit, was left struggling to find answers. The desert heat, which can often drain a player's energy, seemed to only fuel Alex's fire. Experts are going off because Alex looks physically stronger and mentally sharper than she did even during her historic run in Dubai. The clips of this session, which have already started leaking on social media, show a player who isn't just happy to be at Indian Wells. She is a player who is here to take over. But why is this practice session being called brutal? It's because Alexa is currently carrying the momentum of a world number 31 ranking. For the first time in her career, she has arrived at a WTA 1000 event as a seeded player. This status has granted her the ultimate luxury in professional tennis, a first-round bye. While 64 other players are fighting for their lives in the opening round today and tomorrow, Alex is standing back, studying the draw and refining her weapons. This strategic advantage has allowed her to go all out in practice, treating every drill like a championship point. The message to the rest of the field is clear. While you are fighting to survive, the Pinu sensation is preparing to conquer. Now, the million-dollar question that has the entire Filipino community on edge: who is the leaked opponent for the round of 64? While the official match hasn't been set, the draw reveals that Alex will face the winner of a high-octane first-round battle between Ukrainian powerhouse Diana Yastremska and the legendary Zhang Shuai. This potential matchup is already being called a leaked nightmare for whoever wins that first-round match. Because Alex is seeded 31st, she will be the refreshed favorite entering that stadium on March 6th. The shock in California is palpable. Everyone knows that the girl who just dismantled top 10 stars in the Middle East is now rested, seeded, and hungry for blood in the desert. The Desert Storm has officially arrived, and part 1 of her Indian Wells journey is already breaking the internet. As the dust settles on the practice courts of Indian Wells on this Tuesday, March 3, 2026, the conversation is shifting from Alex Eala's raw power to the staggering stakes she is playing for. We aren't just talking about a tennis match anymore. We are talking about a career-defining financial and professional windfall. The official prize money for the women's champion at the 2026 BNP Paribas Open has been confirmed at a jaw-dropping $1.15 million. For Alex Eala, that translates to over 66 million Philippine pesos. But for a 20-year-old who has already conquered the junior world and cracked the top 50, it's not just the money that's driving her. It's the prestige of the 5th Grand Slam and the 1,000 ranking points that come with the trophy. Experts are calculating that a deep run here in California could propel Alex from world number 31 straight into the top 20, a territory no Filipino athlete has ever touched in the history of the sport. But how do you take down the world's best in the middle of a desert? The answer lies in the secret tactical master being cooked up by Alex's coaching team led by experts from the Rafael Nadal Academy. Insiders have leaked that today's brutal practice session with Laura Siegemund wasn't random. It was specifically designed to test Alex's left-handed geometry. Her coaches are focusing on a high top spin forehand strategy, a signature move learned directly from the king of clay, Rafael Nadal himself, to exploit the dry, thin air of Indian Wells. The plan is to push her opponent so far back behind the baseline that they lose their time. Desert Fire. Inside Eala's brutal practice session, and the Indian Wells round of 64 Rumor Mill Filipino tennis racket and ball, dawn breaks over the courts, a rising stars ritual. Before the sun struck the horizon with a blaze of orange and pink, Eala was already on the practice courts of a secluded tennis compound near Indian Wells. The desert air was still cool, almost silent, except for the rhythmic thwack of ball meeting racket. There's a different kind of energy in these pre-tournament mornings. The world is asleep, but champions are awake. At just 20 years old, the Filipina vindicant had already carved her name into tennis conversations worldwide. She'd surged to a career-high world number 31 in the WTA rankings, a jump fueled by stunning victories and tenacious grit through the early season. But even rankings, wildcard runs, and spotlight moments couldn't tell the whole story. This was the real work. Her training camp was not glamour, not headlines, not highlight reels. It was sweat, it was focus, it was repetition until muscle memory became instinct. 2. The brutal practice session, a warrior in the desert. If tennis had a secret language, Alex spoke it fluently this morning. The session began with minutes of shadow swings, footwork crisp, eyes locked, breath steady. Then came the baseline drills. Shots came at her like artillery, deep, cross-court, topspin, slice, angles that would make a geometry teacher dizzy. Coaches initiated patterns designed to expose weaknesses, but Alex just smiled, a quiet thrill in her eyes. Hit where I'm not, she seemed to whisper back to every ball. Her left hand tightened around the grip. Every swing carried purpose. One more foot inside the baseline, one less ball drifting wide, one more inch of racket head acceleration. There was no fancy countdown or music, just the raw sound of the ball on string, slow to fast, forehand, backhand, slice, drop, sprint, reset. A brutal point simulation took over, designed to mimic the intensity of a break point against a top 10 serve. Alex chased down wide balls that most would write off. Every recovery sprint was joined with a fired-up grunt, a reminder, I am here, I belong. Every session had moments that tested her spirit, and this one was no exception. Her coach called out a sequence replicating the rhythm of a Gafor Sabalenka rally, relentless depth, heavy pace, sudden changes of direction. Even when her calf burned hot and her chest pulled for air, Alex attacked the ball with a ferocity that matched the desert sun gaining strength overhead. Discipline, strategy, and heart all stitched together in the space of one grueling hour. And just when it seemed she might ease off, she pushed harder, a testament to how she had climbed the ranks in 2026, not by chance, but by sweat. By the session's end, there were no dramatic celebrations, just a final serve that landed crisp and true, a nod from her coach, and a quiet exhale. 3. Indian Wells beckons. Back to the Grove. The BNP Paribas Open at Indian Wells is known as the 5th Grand Slam, a stage where the desert heat, roaring crowds, and tennis royalty all combine.